Can we talk about cold brew tea? Did you know that cold brew is not just for coffee and that cold brew tea is a thing as well? As a matter of fact, people were cold brewing tea before cold brew coffee became all the rave. I absolutely love it. I love the taste of it. I love the smell of it. And cold brew tea has some great benefits over iced tea that is brewed using a heat process. One of the things you're going to find when you cold brew tea is that because it is a slow and gentle steeping process, the tea is naturally sweeter and it is smoother tasting than regular brewed iced tea. You also may find that you don't need as much sugar to sweeten your cold brew tea. Cold brewing gives tea time to develop more complex flavor notes and aromas, all while preventing the release of the bitter tannins and astringent flavors that are normally extracted towards the end of a hot steeping. You can even find cold brew tea bags in your grocery store to help you to make it at home. All you need is the tool to do it with. I'm going to make some loose tea today. I personally love an oolong tea. It has such a, can you see it there? It has such a rich, sweet, and smooth flavor. But also when you're talking about cold brewing teas, white teas are good, green teas are good, and black teas also work well for cold brewing too. Now, we are going to make cold brew tea just like we make cold brew coffee, okay? And so all you have to do is we're gonna take our tea and we're going to place it directly in the filter, okay? Now, with our cold brew carafe system, you're gonna notice that we have the carafe. There's also a filter that you put your tea in. If you're making cold brew coffee, you put your coffee in here. And then it also comes with a cover, okay? So I put my loose tea directly into the filter. And when you're using loose tea, you wanna use about 4 to 5 teaspoons per quart of what you're making. And so I had pre-measured that out, okay? And then we're going to add our water. Now, you may be wondering, okay, what kind of water do I use? I want you to use the same type of water that you use when you're making your regular tea. So if you use filtered water when you're making your regular tea, use filtered water. If you're using tap water when you make your regular tea, then just use tap water. You just are going to use the same kind of water. And then as you can see, we're going to fill this carafe up to the fill line, okay? And then we're going to put our cap back on. And that is how simple it is to make your cold brew tea. And just remember, if you're using loose tea, 4 to 5 teaspoons for every quart that you're making. If you're using tea bags, then just follow the direction that is on the bag. And we're gonna make it the same way we make cold brew coffee. Now remember, cold brew tea does still have some caffeine in it, but there's not as much caffeine in your tea, in your cold brew tea, as there is in your hot steep tea. Now, I'm also going to steep this on the counter for 10 to 12 hours. Now, it takes a little bit longer to steep cold brew, and that's because we're not applying heat to it. And I want you to notice that right now, the water's pretty clear. It's starting to turn just a little bit, but it will be a beautiful brown color in the next 10 to 12 hours. And then also, I'm going to steep it on the counter instead of putting it in the refrigerator, and let me tell you why. Have you ever tried to add sugar into tea that was already cold? How did that work out for you? You know, it's like good luck dissolving that. It just doesn't work. And so even though cold brew tea is naturally sweeter than hot brew tea, you still may want to add a little bit of sugar in it. And so if I'm gonna add a little bit of sugar, then I don't wanna have to try to dissolve that sugar in cold water. Now, alternatively, you can also use some simple syrup to sweeten your tea, or you can use some flavored syrups or even some pureed fruit. That is the beauty of cold brew tea, is that we can make it any way we want. So we're gonna steep it right here on the counter, and when it's ready, it's going to be brown, smooth, and delicious. And once it's ready, we're gonna take the filter out, we're gonna replace the cover, and we're gonna store it in the carafe. And it'll be good in your fridge for 5 or 6 days. So meet me back here in the kitchen tomorrow, and we will finish it up. Bye for now. We're having cold brew tea, y'all. Hi, friends. Time to finish up our cold brew tea. Yesterday, we made cold brew tea right here in the carafe, and it's been steeping on the counter. And let me show you just how easy it is to finish it off and pour yourself a glass. Now, since it is steeped for 10 to 12 hours and is done, we are going to take off our lid, and then we're going to take out the filter. And you don't want to store your tea in your fridge with the filter in it, because the tea leaves are still in here. So we're going to put that over here to the side. And then I already have ice in my glass, and I have a little bit of strawberries in my glass, and I'm going to sweeten my tea with a little bit of strawberry syrup. So as you can tell, I am having strawberry tea today. And I want you to notice just how brown and delicious our tea is looking. And all we need is just a little bit of syrup here. And then we're going to pour. And we are ready to drink. And here you have it, cold brew tea. Y'all, I love a cold brew tea. The tea has had more time to develop the flavor. It also has a naturally sweet and smooth taste. Cold brew tea for the win. And let me just tell you that you actually need 2 cold brews in your life, so that you have one for your tea and you have one for your coffee too. Let me just tell you, cold brew for the win. Bye for now. I'll see you in the kitchen.